Here come chickens of mass destruction. The Mythbusters are firing their chicken gun to see which does the most damage, thawed or frozen.
I would say that what you got there is a potential supersonic chicken.
Doing the laundry can be a killer chore, but can it actually kill you?
The washing machine from hell.
It's about to be unleashed upon the world.
Adam and Jamie are getting intimate with a giant octopus. Could a human give birth to one?
No, really, honey, those are octopus hickeys.
Who are the Mythbusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I always enjoyed seeing Adam in pain.
Oh!
And Jamie Hyneman.
Jamie wants a big boom.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
Feel kind of sexy.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Well, Jamie, I got an angry chicken, a really big gun, and an airplane. What are we working on?
Well, we're here testing the myth of the chicken gun.
Scientists conduct impact tests by firing bird carcasses from big guns. With more than 3,000 bird strikes each year, aviation authorities spend millions trying to protect the cockpit crews.
We know that the military uses chicken cannons to test windshields, you know, how they would do with a bird hit. What's the myth?
Well, the myth says that the British borrowed this technology from NASA to test high-speed trains. But they ran into a problem, and the problem was that the chickens were going right through the windshields of the trains and even embedding themselves in the seats further down inside the train.
That would be bad.
Yeah. Well, the British were horrified at this, of course, and they sent a tape back to NASA asking for help. NASA replied saying, "Gentlemen, thaw your chickens."
Well, so this is what we're testing here today. Not that there is a chicken gun in existence, but whether or not there's a difference between a frozen and a thawed chicken at a couple 100 miles an hour to an airplane windshield.
That's correct.
To fire thawed or frozen chickens at high speed, the Mythbusters will need a sealed tank and compressor to supply air for the massive gun. An industrial-strength butterfly valve will provide an explosive release for firing the carcass down the long barrel. The target? A used fuselage and several spare windshields.
There are loads of stories where one country pokes fun at another, particularly where America is involved.
Mythbusters folklorist Heather Joseph Witham.
There are versions of this narrative where it's the Royal Canadian Air Force, for example, that invents the chicken gun, and it's borrowed by American airplane manufacturers who don't know how to use the gun right.
First stop for anyone buying light aircraft spare parts in California is Ken Faith's yard in Sacramento.
Windshields I'm thinking about might be over here, some of them.
Acres of used light aircraft components make it a prime location for Jamie and Adam to find a fuselage and extra windshields.
I love places like this. I could spend hours here looking through the gauges and headsets and seats and, you know, hats.
Look, a chicken. Looks like a bird already went through it.
It did. What about something like this, Jamie? You know, we get double the bang for our buck.
I certainly like the looks of these better.
Aircraft chosen. Now, how to get it home? Jamie and Adam have been all over Kenny's yard, but there's one question they forgot to ask, an oversight that will come back to haunt them.
Not bad, sir. Very good.
Never done that before.
Keep going. Good.
Had a lot of Stranger Things in my pickup at this point, so this is another one to add to my list. Okay, set it down.
Back at the workshop, the plane is stored until the chicken gun is built and ready to fire.
Well, we've got our target, so the next step and the hardest step is going to be to set up the chicken gun. That means that we have to build a large tank to hold a whole lot of high-pressure air and rig some kind of a valve to let go all that air all at once to fire a chicken. It's kind of tricky. It's a lot of work.
And Jamie should know. He's solved the compressed air problem once before.
Yeah, baby.
He built this 7-Up vending machine with attitude for a TV commercial.
Cool.
With impressive results.
One of the things that I noticed was that the firing system that we set up required a large valve that delivered a whole bunch of air all at once, and thought, wow, this is great. You know, we should use this on the chicken gun because it requires exactly the same thing. It's a simple, elegant design. It's exactly what I like to see come out of the shop. It's fun, yet deadly. What else could you possibly want to come out of an effects shop?
So the search for the perfect high-pressure tank begins.
Wow.
The Machinery and Equipment Company in Brisbane, California is a vast supermarket for used tanks.
You can flip this in any direction. That could be upside down. You can hang it from something or leave it like that.
What do you want for this thing?
This is $750.
Okay.
Jamie, it still occurs to me that it's way overkill for what we want to do.
Jamie has made his choice, but Adam is not happy about safety. He feels that the tank is too sophisticated and that over-modification could weaken the structure.
It's like your intuition is that it's not like a bomb.
Yeah.
But if it is, we're all dead and
Well, this is true, but...
So, erring against the side of caution,
Okay.
even if your intuition is right, is stupid.
Okay, well, think about it, though, before you go off like that.
Well, when everyone who you talk to describes 250 pounds per square inch as being like a bomb, and Jamie just says, well, I'm not that concerned about it. It's like, that's not good enough for me.
Adam was just having a little bit of a hissy fit about the safety aspect of this thing, and, you know, I don't hold it against him at all. The possibility of having the tank rupture and somebody get hurt is something that we should be very concerned about. However, I don't think it's going to blow up.
But Adam's not convinced. He's called around town and found another tank.
What I've got, I found a guy who's got one. It's about half that size. I think it's just perfect for us up in Petaluma.
Okay.
I need some cash and I need the keys to the car, Dad.
Okay. There's
500. All right.
Drive carefully.
Vegas, baby.
Adam's ideal tank is waiting out back at Maselli & Sons.
And what's it rated for?
200 PSI. There you go.
That is good. I love it. Let's do it.
That's it.
Meanwhile, Jamie has found an oversized butterfly valve that will release the pressurized air. He also ordered 20 feet of quarter-inch steel pipe for a 10-inch diameter barrel.
Hey, Savage.
Yo, Heine.
So,
Here she is.
Even Jamie is impressed with Adam's purchase. It's an ideal tank for storing enough compressed air to propel chickens.
I recognize that your intuition, like mine, is...
It appears Adam has a little something to get off his chest.
I didn't mean to call you stupid this morning.
did you call me stupid?
I didn't. I said stupid, and I was talking to you, but I wasn't calling you stupid.
Okay. Nobody ever calls me stupid.
I've called you stupid, but not to your face.
Not in live.
Jamie's using a plasma cutter, a high-energy precision tool to cut the pipe to length and to make a hole in the tank for the barrel. For the explosive release of air, the butterfly valve will be fitted between two lengths of pipe. Adam's job is to fit the short end to the tank.
I just dropped the temple of my glasses here into the tank, the really heavy, big tank with a hole in it. Got some chewing gum?
Just goes to show, where there's a will, there's a way.
There we go. One glasses temple. Now I can get to work.
The big valve is the most critical aspect. It's the only mechanism standing between a great shot and a weak one.
When we pressure this tank up, this can hold 250 PSI. We'll get it to about 200 and then yank on this, and chickens be flying.
The air compressor is connected to the tank. Time for a chicken-free test blast at 200 pounds per square inch of pressure.
Stand clear.
There goes the neighborhood.
Give us a countdown then.
2, 3, 1.
It looks impressive, yet the white smoke is simply water vapor forming droplets when the previously hot compressed air meets the cool.
Feels like a Mack truck just drove by me. I just wonder what a chicken breaking the speed of sound sounds like.
If you're going to let your chickens fly free range, there's no better place to stock up than Tarantino's. Tony's family has been in poultry for years, and he's heard all the chicken stories.
Tony, do you think there'd be any difference between whether they use frozen or thawed chickens?
I would imagine frozen would be harder.
They could do more damage.
Do a little bit more damage. I think the fresh just might kind of splat.
Yeah.
So if you were in a plane, you'd rather hit a thawed chicken than a frozen one?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I don't imagine there's many frozen chickens at 2,000 feet.
No, maybe. It's cold up there.
And freezing down here. Their chickens of choice, 8 rock-hard 4-pounders. The key to launching chickens explosively is to ensure they fit the barrel snugly. Adam places them in a mold of expanding rigid foam. The result is a sleeve called a sabot. It enables projectiles to be fired from weapons of a larger caliber.
So once the foam sets up and gets rigid, what we end up with is this perfect sort of molded cartridge for the chicken that equals the size of the barrel and allows us to propel it out.
I would say that what you got here is a potential supersonic chicken.
Just a few bolts to tighten, and this very potent chicken gun is ready for its first outing. Bringing up the rear is Bruce Bradford, a man who knows all about gigantic guns. He's the designer of one called Second Amendment. At the annual Pumpkin Chunkin in Delaware, these huge air guns blast pumpkins nearly a mile. With Bruce, the 2002 and 3 world champion, who better to consult on the business of big barrels?
I think it's a great looking gun. It's got all the basics. It's got a tank, it's got a valve, and it's got a barrel. Excellent job of welding by Adam, that's for sure. And it's going to shoot a chicken at high velocity.
The countdown to chicken blastoff has begun. Unsure of the chicken gun's firepower, for safety reasons, they sit the plane inside their blast chamber.
You want to lean it right there?
To check their aim, they need a test shot. So, a sheet of Lexan is positioned to protect the windshield.
So our first test is a frozen chicken. Let's see here.
The tank is primed to 120 pounds per square inch of air pressure.
There we go. That is one loaded chicken gun.
I'm good.
All right.
Get out of here.
We are arming the chicken cannon. I'm going to stand back here.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right! I told you right there. Oh, good man.
Out of the barrel and free of the sabot, the frozen chicken clocked 121 miles an hour.
Wow!
So much for the blast shield.
So even if you're flying with a rated plexiglass shield in front of your plane, you're in some serious danger. Where's the chicken? Oh my God. You know, who knows what the damage to the neighbors would have been if this had gotten out. Oh.
You know, that's about one of the more destructive things that I've ever done. That was cool.
Yeah, that was exceedingly cool. Let's do a thawed.
A replacement windshield is fitted for another shot. This time, a thawed chicken. The big question, will it cause as much damage as a frozen one?
3, 2,
Under the same pressure, the thawed chicken was marginally slower than the frozen one, but still reached a destructive 99.5 miles an hour. For the next shot, the tank pressure will be reduced by more than half, down to 50 psi. They're hoping to see a difference between frozen and thawed at a slower speed.
And 3, 2, 1.
Another frozen bird is blasted, this one at 128 miles an hour.
Jamie,
Yeah?
there was no difference in speed between 120 psi and 50 psi.
It may just be that initial blast, like it's probably within the first like eighth of the valve opening, it's gone or something, you know?
The rapid air release is crucial. Bruce's winning blast flew a 10-pound pumpkin almost 4,000 feet.
Sometimes we can shoot just as far, shooting 75 pounds as we put 200 pounds in.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, just the timing
Really?
and the way the valve opens. Yeah.
Wow.
Once more into the breach for the thawed bird at the 50 psi mark.
2, 1.
Its clocked speed a shattering 132 miles an hour.
You know, if anything, the thawed chicken leaves a bigger hole.
Which would kind of make sense.
It would. Its impact spreads out as it hits, but it's still the same amount of mass going through the same amount of space.
Right now, they're all going right through the windshield. So assuming that there is a minute difference and we want to find out whether there is, we're going to have to lower the speed down to find out exactly where that butter zone is.
They cut the pressure again to just 25 psi for the frozen fowl. And then thawed. The Mythbusters' awesome outcome, all their flying poultry highly destructive.
I'm totally shocked.
Does that mean that the myth is busted?
I think that would mean that the myth is definitely busted.
But wait, there's a hitch. Those light aircraft windshields they bought are not rated for bird strikes.
Well, Jamie, that's the biggest screw-up we've ever done. I mean, we're supposed to test the difference between frozen and thawed chickens, and the Piper Cherokee, its windscreen is not even rated to be smacked into by anything.
Yeah, it was like trying to check the difference between a 22 and a 357 by shooting at a cardboard box. I mean, it looked really destructive. It looked great, but it didn't really tell us anything.
Yeah.
For the moment, the Mythbusters are stymied, but already they're formulating a new plan to measure the chicken's force of impact. We'll tell you about it a little later in the show.
It automatically deboned the chicken, didn't it?
Now, here's a twisted tale. It involves a strange proposition in the park
Does the Dane have to pee?
and the Mythbusters airing their dirty laundry
His feet go up and in, and then we lift him up.
No.
while building the appliance Bride of Frankenstein.
We're about to blow the lid right off this puppy.
You are about to get a load of the myth that defies the imagination. The killer laundry.
In 1998, a Charlottesville man attempting to do a large amount of laundry stuffed his washing machine with 50 pounds of clothes.
So he wants to get all of his laundry into the machine at once. So he takes this 50 pounds of laundry and he's jumping up and down on top of the machine to get it in there when his foot accidentally kicks the on button.
He sort of fell into the machine. His legs got stuck by the laundry and he banged into the shelf. He hit some bleach. Bleach blinded him. Apparently he might have even swallowed some.
At this point, his dog runs in to see what the commotion is about. And as he spins around, this time he hits the shelf again and some baking soda pours out. This startles the dog, who then urinates on the baking soda,
causing a small explosion, at which point the laundry machine went into its spin cycle, turning him at about 70 miles an hour, where he smacked his head into a shelf and died immediately.
Well, that sounds ridiculous.
Now, we do need some dog pee, but let's not rush into that. Start simple. Buy a washing machine.
What's the largest one that you would have in stock?
The large one.
Yeah.
It's a heavy duty, super capacity.
Do you think that this could hold 50 pounds of clothes?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
All right.
So what do you think, Adam?
My vote would be this one.
Yeah?
Yeah, for the volume.
Okay. We, of course, went for Super Capacity Plus from a major maker of washing machines, and hopefully it'll be as powerful as about anything that's out there.
And already, one part of this myth is looking a little busted.
The very first precept of the myth, which is that he's standing in a washing machine that's running, is probably impossible. All the washing machines they have in here have cutoff switches when the lid is open.
But this visit has proved one thing. Adam Savage can never leave a junk shop empty-handed.
I'm thinking of, like, you know, maybe having it a way that my kids can get the toys out of their closet.
Next on our laundry list, 50 pounds of clothes. Adam's favorite thrift store has what we need.
Men's, women's, children's, you know, lingerie. You can get a lot of lingerie for 50 pounds.
We actually use a lot of lingerie on this show, don't we?
We
For
have,
some strange
actually.
reason.
Okay, let's see how much we got there. You got the scale?
There we go.
I say we're good, 50 pounds. 50 pounds of laundry is a lot bigger than I thought it was. I mean, it's like 2 full, hard-to-lift garbage bags of clothes.
I know we're not going to get all of that in the washing machine. You know, maybe about half of it at most. And that wouldn't wash it very well.
The guys construct a mini laundry in the workshop. Just like in the myth, bleach and baking soda are placed on the shelf.
As far as I can tell, it's working.
The machine runs like a dream. But they need to disable the cutoff switch so it can spin with the lid open.
Go ahead.
So is this the moment of truth?
So it doesn't even want to spin me around. Like, I can go like this. I can stop it. All right.
Okay, myth busted. We're done?
No. I think the next thing is to get 50 pounds of clothes and see if we can even get this thing to run with that.
Okay, let's load it up.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on.
It's not in the machine.
Well,
Well, I guess this is why the guy stood
this is
on
why
it.
the guy started standing on it. But, I mean, we still have 10 pounds left, and I can't even make my feet into it. I mean, he's supposed to have sunk all the way to the bottom. All right.
Let's see if the machine will wash it.
It wants to spin. It really does. It's not even spinning, it's not agitating, it's not doing anything. So the only option open to us now is to pull all this out, start pulling the guts out, and just make this thing spin hell or high water, no matter what the hell is in it.
It's the moment Jamie and Adam have secretly been waiting for. We're talking about taking stuff apart.
What's that? That can't be that necessary. I don't recognize it.
Ooh.
This is the clutch, man. I think you're probably right, 'cause I don't see any belts right offhand.
Why don't we run it through a light cycle right now?
Okay.
And observe it. This should be pretty cool. How many of you have ever seen a washing machine naked?
To prevent accidents, like the one in the myth, the machine has an emergency clutch. It stops the wash cycle before the motor burns out. To make this machine spin Buster, the crash test dummy, the clutch will have to be bypassed.
Yay.
Well, we have done what we can to modify this machine to get rid of a clutch and get rid of actually every safety feature it possesses. Now we'll find out if it is in fact strong enough to do any damage once those have all been overridden.
The washing machine from hell
Is about to be unleashed upon the world.
Before Buster and his dirty clothes go back in, a test run.
It's spinning. It's going real fast.
But despite 630 revolutions per minute, they can stop it with their bare hands.
That was the thing that was going to break. We removed the clutch. That was probably that little plastic.
That's that little piece of plastic. So the motor has like almost no torque at all.
This so-called washing machine from hell turns out to be Well, just another washing machine.
This is an example of one of the most powerful consumer-level motors you can get in a washing machine. This myth is totally busted for the third or fourth time today. I can't even remember which.
The myth is busted. However, as is our way here on Mythbusters, we are going to show what would happen if it did have enough power.
So this once humble super capacity washing machine will mutate even further. It's goodbye, baby regular motor. Hello, Big Daddy. They're upgrading to a motor from an electric car, a motor Jamie just happened to have lying around.
These motors are 10 horsepower as well. They will literally pick this thing up and throw it. They will toss the dummy across the room or something like that. These propelled a full-sized electric car, so they're not something to be toyed with.
Attaching the motor will be tricky. But Jamie has come up with a brilliant solution. Now the spin cycle is powered like a motorcycle. The car motor is connected to the main drive shaft by a motorcycle chain.
Ah, there we go. Good.
We have a very solid plan for making this thing go like hell.
Jamie wheels in a special guest, the robot he built for a 7-Up commercial. By plugging the washing machine into the robot's power source and speed controller, he'll be able to easily direct the washer's spin speeds.
And what that gives us is a tremendous amount of power that we can control from relatively slow to as fast as it'll handle before it flies apart. This will fly apart at some point. The machine is not built for this kind of power, and we'll probably find another weak link, and another, until we end up having no washing machine left and some big massive motor and a drum that we've made from scratch just so we can swing the damn dummy around. Right now, this thing doesn't really resemble a washing machine anymore so much as it does an electric car.
Time to bring the Franken washer to life.
This should be live, so watch out there.
Is it faster or slower than the spin cycle?
That looks pretty close to the spin cycle to me.
It looks a little bit slower, but it looks pretty close.
Okay, I wasn't going all the way up yet. So we've done it.
We got it.
Okay, I'll power it off.
With the washing machine ready to go, it's time to tackle the task that can be delayed no longer. Does dog pee plus baking soda equal explosion? According to the amazing killer washing machine story, it does. Jamie and Adam need some willing donor dogs.
Does the Dane have to pee? Oh, no. Now, where's the likely tree? Any ideas where the most likely tree is?
That garbage can right there.
That garbage can?
Is that it?
Stop and pee on the garbage.
Excellent. Okay. All right.
Jamie is sticking with the cup and stick method, while Adam is confident the foil pans will produce the gold. And sure enough, here's our first customer.
Jamie!
What?
He was going to go in my pans. You messed it all up. Here, you take this camera and you go over there.
Okay.
You and I'll stay right here.
Then a dog-loving friend of the Mythbusters tries a rear guard action. Meanwhile, out on the park's perimeter, a lone wolf is on patrol.
Is your dog like getting close or no? Yeah, he's not putting out.
Then a bounty hunter nabs a sample.
Wow. Thank you. Good job.
Seconds later, the persistent tailing by our panhandler brings up a speck of gold too.
There we go. Beautiful. Excellent. That's not much, but that's all that I need. I got it.
At the workshop, Buster is hauled up for another traumatic test of endurance. Even for a crash test dummy, he's constantly outside his comfort zone. The Mythbusters have dropped him, crushed him, blasted him, and still
Buster survived!
The dummy soldiers on till another day. But even lifting Buster's 180-pound frame into the washing machine is causing aggravation.
Grab one of his feet.
Tell me what you're doing.
If you followed me, it would all happen.
We got a
really
forklift
quickly.
here.
His feet go up and in, and then we lift him up.
No.
No.
Well, we got a forklift. You're complaining about how heavy he is. We got a forklift sitting right here.
In 2 minutes, we'll be done. So he's swinging the butt all the way upside down, like this.
Is the camera out of there?
Yeah. Here. Now we lift him. Oh, wait. He's copping a feel. Wait. There we go. Buster. See? See? We're done. See, that was easy.
Some of last season's fashions are packed around his legs.
I told you no colors with the whites.
All right, we got the bleach up here. All right, let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna operate it from over here at safe distance.
Jamie throws the switch on the Frankenwasher.
I'm glad we were all suitably safe distance.
That was a lot of fun. That was pretty cool. He was like a top or a Tasmanian devil.
And now, for the experiment's final phase.
There's the baking soda. It's dumped all over the place.
I think that's exactly where a dog would pee if a dog came in and was startled by all this.
Which it no doubt would be. Well,
So we have our carefully collected specimens. Shall we see if this causes a small explosion?
Did someone say explosion? We'd better dress for the occasion.
Basically now I'm about to pour the dog wee on the pile of baking soda, which, if the myth is correct, should cause a small explosion. Or if we're actually on Earth, we'll do absolutely butt-less.
fire in the hole!
Nothing happened. Get me the Jack Russell Terrier urine. That ought to do it. They're hyperloop creatures. All right, everybody behind the Lexan shield. Are you ready? Hot set!
Well, what do you know? Nothing happened.
No explosion at all. Well, Jamie, that's actually, I think, a first for us. There's not one fact about this myth that's true.
Yeah, you know, usually at least there's a tiny grain of truth somewhere in the stuff that we're dealing with. It has to start somewhere. But, you know, this one, it just isn't there. It's not practical, it's not reasonable, it doesn't make any sense.
Myth decimated.
One myth busted. But what about the unfinished chicken gun business?
3, 2.
You'll recall that while testing which chicken hits hardest, frozen or thawed, the guys discovered that their light airplane windshields were not rated for bird strikes. As a result, all their flying chickens smashed every windshield.
This chicken went through it like butter.
Whoa.
So this is the experiment take 2.
To finally lay this myth to rest, they have rethought their methodology. No more windshields. This is purely a moment of impact test. The chickens will be fired at a solid steel plate. By using the high-speed camera to measure the time between the start and finish of impact, they hope to see a difference between frozen and thawed chickens. The 3 frozen chickens clocked more than 140 miles an hour. The impact time, 7 1/1000ths of a second.
It automatically deboned the chicken, didn't it? 3, 2, 1.
Impact times for the 3 thawed chickens showed a perfect match with the frozen poultry, 7 1/1000ths of a second.
Here we go. 1 point of impact, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then now it's starting to move back again. It's given all of its impact in that amount of time.
The results from the high-speed camera seem to be fairly convincing.
You know that adage that it's not the falling that kills you, it's the stopping? The stopping is where the force gets imparted. So both the frozen and the thawed chicken have the same mass. They have effectively the same speed. So the only difference between the two is going to be how much time they take to impart their energy to the plate. And on the high-speed camera, we showed that each of them exerted all their energy in 7 milliseconds, almost exactly. Basically, there was no difference.
So does that mean the myth is busted?
At these speeds, frozen or thawed chicken, myth busted, no difference at all. Now that we're done testing, we get to have some fun.
That'd be pumpkin chunkin' kind of fun.
Dude, look at this. It's what you get when the pumpkin chucking champion buys your pumpkin for you. It's perfect.
With the day almost done, what better way to finish than with a few pumpkin chunkin' rounds of their own?
Was there anything in its way? I suspect that the pumpkin went through here. Oh, here we go. Jamie, can I ride it?
3, 2, 1.
Woo! That was so cool.
You feel a little tingle between your legs when that sucker went out?
I do. It's gonna be hard to top that.
The Mythbusters are about to probe the mysteries of the deep in the aquarium at California's Monterey Bay, one of the world's largest marine sanctuaries. This odd story is one of the more enduring legends, with its origins way back in medieval times.
No, really, honey, those are octopus hickeys. Well, this one might seem a little silly at first, but I think we're gonna have some fun with this. This woman admitted to the hospital with abdominal pains, and the doctors, upon examining her, thought that she was pregnant, so they did an emergency cesarean on her and pulled what turned out to be a live octopus from her belly. This is the myth. It seems that perhaps 6 months before, she was diving and ingested an octopus egg while diving, and it had grown to full size in her stomach.
I think partially this story is playing upon young girls' fears of pregnancy and their mothers' fears that the young girls could become pregnant. I mean, it's almost the same as the story that you can get pregnant by going in the swimming pool if there happens to be sperm floating around in that pool despite the chlorine.
To ground this myth in reality, Adam and Jamie consult the experts at Monterey Bay Aquarium.
We have shrimp and squid.
That's exactly what I had for dinner last night.
Sauteed in a little butter.
Yeah, exactly.
Feeding the giant Pacific octopus is Julia Mariottini's job. But today, it seems Adam is on the menu.
You taste different.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you must taste really good. Because he's really interested in you.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, he's very excited.
While Adam's making a new friend, Jamie tackles the big questions.
Julia, what kind of conditions do the eggs require to be successful at bearing little octopuses?
Well, they really do require the attention of the mother. She will blow jets of water on them to make sure that they're aerated. She'll clean them. They also require the correct temperature, the correct salinity, and if all goes well, then they'll hatch out. For giant octopus, it's about 6 months later.
Is it possible, let's say, if an octopus egg had just detached and was floating free, could a diver actually swim in and swallow one of these things?
That's the only part of the story that could possibly happen. By some fluke, the octopus eggs are small enough that maybe a person could swallow them, but there's no way they would hatch out.
The conditions in the stomach would not be amenable to their hatching.
Not at all.
The octopus myth is already looking pretty shaky. The Mythbusters must now take another tack.
You know, Jamie, talking to Julie, it's really obvious to me that the whole idea of octopus pregnancy is just ridiculous. I mean, octopus egg can't even survive in open water without constant tending from the mother. It's definitely not going to survive in someone's stomach.
Yeah, but you know, there are myths around other creatures like frogs, lizards, snakes, even newts, you know, that this can happen with.
The octopus is perhaps the most recent incarnation. Other recent incarnations of this narrative are where a boy is getting water out of a garden hose and he swallows frog eggs, or newts, toads. Going back to medieval times, you have serpents and snakes, perhaps the most wicked seeming creature.
Many stories were fables created to scare children. Others were chilling examples of what would happen to sinners. Sometimes the sufferers would regurgitate the unwelcome visitor, but usually the episode would end badly.
So it's something taking you over, something insidious, something making you bad, and I'm sure in some versions of the narrative you did something wrong to let it in.
So, is it possible for foreign organisms to survive inside the human body?
We can replicate a stomach or several of them and put, you know, stuff that eggs would run into, like acids and maybe salinity, temperature factors.
And we'll see which ones survive and which ones don't, and which environments they work in.
Yeah.
Busting the pregnancy story means a Mythbusters trip to the lab supply store. Or should that be candy store?
I love this stuff. One of everything. I've never seen continuous pipe cleaner before. I didn't even know it existed.
Which is smoother?
That's smoother. Do you think we need to get some beard covers here? What you have isn't really quite a beard, though.
I'm not sure what it is.
It's like an accessory tuft.
Ever wondered what's really inside Adam's head?
Now somebody wave from the other side.
Oh, that's cool. When do you ever get a chance? Oh, I'm a little embarrassed. That was kind of a personal experience.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Adam, do we have everything we need here for this experiment?
I think we do. We've got the acid, we've got the salt, we've got the voltage meter for testing salinity, thermometer, and perhaps most importantly, in fact, without this we couldn't do the experiment, we have our test subjects here, our frog eggs.
With the octopus angle ruled out, they have opted for frogs' eggs and tadpoles, small and common enough in nature to be swallowed, and they don't need constant parental care.
Yeah, those puppies came all the way from Florida. They have a lot of frog farms down there, I understand.
3 flasks represent different conditions in the stomach. One for body temperature, water heated to 98.6. One of salt water, the same salinity as the human body. A third with a pH of 2 contains acid, imitating human stomach juices. A 4th flask is the control sample.
All right, so we got some tadpoles and some eggs in there. Let's say we do 2 of each.
Okay, you got the little squirt bulb?
I do. Here we go.
The control sample of eggs and tadpoles will swim in a flask of aerated water, the ideal environment for tadpole survival.
You ready for the acidity?
Okay.
Okay, which one is that? Acid, this one here.
Hydrochloric acid actually secretes in the stomach, and it's powerful stuff. Extremely corrosive. A single drop can eat through wood. Jamie and Adam need to dilute their pure hydrochloric to match stomach acidity.
Yeah, real close.
All right.
1.99. All right.
The pH scale runs from 0 to 14. Pure water is neutral with a pH of 7. Anything below 7 is acid, and anything above is alkaline. Common examples range from battery acid at 1, the stomach at 2, an apple scores a pH of 4, and milk of magnesia a mild 10.5.
Doesn't seem to be doing so hot. He's definitely more laconic than his racetrack friends here, you know? He's just kind of sitting there on the top.
Next, the body temperature test. They heat water to 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, here we go. He's not, you know, doing a racetrack thing like his brethren down here in the Pyrex.
For the next phase of the experiment, Adam's making a personal contribution.
Here we go.
What Adam's doing is measuring the electrical conductivity of his saliva. Now, we're going to try and replicate that conductivity in water by adding salt to it.
Electrical resistance is the best way to determine salinity because dissolved salts are strong conductors. In Adam's mouth, the resistance is low, measuring around 4 kiloohms.
There's one. He's doing pretty good.
No, he's actually doing fine.
Here's another. Salinity, they both seem to be doing okay, so we should leave this overnight, see how it does.
Yeah.
Tadpoles might find it tough going in the stomach, but are there any life forms tailored to the conditions?
Come down here, I got some worms all set for you.
If anyone knows about creatures surviving in the human stomach, it's Dr. Jim McCarroll from the University of California at San Francisco. As a professor of pathology, he's heard all the stories.
Why would it not be possible for a thing like an octopus or a snake to grow and develop in your body?
The acid in your stomach is there to dissolve meat and other food materials, and any type of living organism that doesn't have a way to protect itself against that is going to just wind up as digested food.
So are there creatures that do have that type of protection that can make it through the acid in the stomach?
Oh, most certainly. Tapeworms, for example, which are a type of parasite that you get from eating undercooked pork or beef. Also, certain types of roundworms, where in this case it's the egg of the worm that makes it through and then hatches in your intestine. And in both of those cases, the reason that they can actually make it through the gastric acid is that they're coated with a very hard shell. It's called a cuticle, and it's about as hard as your fingernail. So by having this, basically this armor on its surface, these worms can make it through the gastric acid, get into the small intestine, and basically live in paradise because they have as much food as they want to eat.
In the United States, between 1900 and 1920, tapeworms were being advertised for weight loss. Each segment of the worm was sold individually with claims like no ill effects and easily swallowed. Today, worldwide, about 1 billion people are infected with parasitic worms, particularly in tropical regions.
You know, with things this big and this prevalent, it's not surprising that a lot of stories probably evolved because people were seeing these things in their environment all the time, and they probably attained mythical proportions.
When you look at these, the leap to an octopus doesn't seem like that great a leap.
Sure, I mean, and imagine these all bunched together. You know, it would be like a Medusa head. Mm-hmm. And they'd often be passed by a child that way, so you actually would see something that looks like a Medusa head lying in the crib.
That must be it. What do you think?
I think no pasta for lunch. All right, Jamie, it's been 3 days. How are our frogs doing?
Well, most of them are still alive. You know, the control group is great. They're happy little tadpoles swimming away in there.
They look even bigger than they were a couple days ago.
I believe they have grown a little bit. And the salt water seems to be fine with them.
Yeah, they're
you know,
still going.
They're doing just as well as a control group, actually.
What were the killers?
The real killers were the acid and the high temperature.
Well, that killed them each in like 10 or 15 minutes, didn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, Jamie, I think we've done everything we can to show that octopus pregnancy is absolutely ridiculous. We've busted it wide open.
And the octopus really liked your hand.
I think I'm actually in love.